And welcome. Welcome to this podcast on aligning your purpose, your passion, and your profession to really take and inspire and transform the people in your lives that you're always trying to touch and lead and guide. I'm so thankful that you're here. My name is Pat Dewar, and I'm really grateful for this interview because I've got Dr. Morgan Oates. He's a transformational speaker, a podcast presenter. In fact, let me just go ahead and read his bio, because what I want you guys to get from this is these podcasts are really about taking and finding out what a person's passion and gifting is and how it actually has directed them into their life and into their profession that they do. So real quick, let me go ahead and get his bio. Is he's the host of the Intuitive Wisdom for Modern Transformational podcast. Dr. Morgan Oates shares the best of what he's learned as a doctor, transformational speaker, high performance coach, shamanic practitioner, and a voracious student of life. A gifted visionary with a holistic view, Dr. Morgan inspires audiences and clients to develop and trust their intuition, integrate their life wisdom, and to cultivate the courage to live a life of inspired action. His goal is to take people from where they are to where their body, mind, and soul are calling them to be. And quite honestly, I've been on one of his podcasts recently and blown away. Just an incredible wisdom and insight on the way to get people to really activate and take inspired action. So, Morgan, it's an honor to have you on the video today.
Yeah, really great to be with you, Pat. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks. So one of the things that I'd like to do initially, I've given your bio, but I'd love for you to tell the audience a little bit more about you and how you got to where you're at, and then I'm going to walk you through the assessment that I've been sharing with other leaders, and we'll go from there. So go ahead, tell me more about you.
Yeah, well, I started out. I grew up in a small town in Wyoming. And I always, I just always like, okay, let's just follow what makes the most sense. So I became a mechanical engineer and moved to Colorado, and then, realized that I really wanted to be helping people. I didn't want to be stuck behind a computer the rest of my life. So stepped in and went into chiropractic college in Iowa and moved back to Colorado and opened a chiropractic practice. And within my chiropractic practice, I thought that was my pinnacle or my peak. I thought that's the plateau I was going to ride out the rest of my life, and started realizing there's so many other techniques, and how powerfully the unconscious mind controls what's happening with the physical body, and ultimately realizing that if people's spines and bodies are really healthy but the rest of their life is a mess, life still isn't great. And I really started doing a lot of empowerment work in my own life, realizing I was the limiter on my accelerator. I was the glass ceiling I had built above myself. And so as I started doing that empowerment work, I started learning about myself and also really wanting to share that with other people. So it's transitioned into, me becoming a certified high performance coach. I do the podcast. I've had a radio show, and I do shamanic work. So like soul level energy work. And ultimately what I like to do is I meet people where they're at, and I'm good at two things. I'm either good at helping them get to where they're wanting to go, or I'm good at going, I'm not your person, and here's the person that can help you get there. So whether it's me supporting somebody or me referring somebody, I'm incredibly passionate about empowerment, and it seems to be the sweet spot that I'm really just loving living in right now.
I love that. I'm excited about what you're doing and where you're going with that. It's funny because as we go into the test, it'll be really interesting if what I think is your internal motivational gift actually you choose. It's just so let's show the audience this test and show you how powerful it is in actually finding not just yours, but actually validating many times why you do what you do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And so let me go ahead and do that. And there we go. So there's your little bio. And here, just cancel this. I want to get out of that. Technology is so fun sometimes. So here's where I want to go. I'm going to take you to this little test that I'm just going to walk you through. And what I'm going to ask you to do, Morgan, is just go with what you've naturally done in your life, not what you want to do, not what you think is right. Don't try to, just choose in your life what would even other people have said, yeah, you tend to do this. I mean, you look at you and look at your actions, not the logic mind. Okay.
Gotcha.
So in your life, naturally in your past, would you rather work with your hands or speak with your mouth?
Definitely speak with my mouth.
Okay. Has that always been the case?
One of the things I'm thinking about is how many times I would get in trouble in class because I would always want to be talking.
Okay.
I was at a movie night last night, and I was disappointed when the movie started because it meant that we had to be quiet and kind of behave and watch the movie. So yeah, so it's definitely speak with your mouth. I love connecting and communicating and sharing, and yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. So you said speak with your mouth. So I'm not going to go down the list here of the work with your hands. I'm
Okay.
just going to go over here to the speak with your mouth because we're really looking for the primary motivational gift in your life. Now, to form an opinion about something, do you go by what you feel or believe, or do you research until you're confident?
I might have you help me with this one. So I I always know the answer right away. So I think the answer actually is A for me. And what's interesting is I think there's a wound in me in the past that will cause me to always research things. So I'll know what the answer is. I'll do all the research. And then ultimately, my goal is always to get myself back to what I already know. But it's interesting. I waste a lot of time on that research piece.
I everything that you've already said and everything I've seen of you, you're exactly right already. So
Yeah.
yeah, you probably go by your intuition because you teach people to follow their intuition.
Uh huh.
You go by what you feel, right?
Yeah.
Now, in giving advice, would you give practical steps of action or quote something as an absolute law of action?
I would say practical steps.
Duh. And
Yep.
then do you find that you adapt easy to most any situation, or do you get real frustrated with red tape and delays?
the
You think
answer
about
is
your life,
the answer is A. And
obviously.
I definitely don't like being slowed down. So I do have that frustration. But yeah, I'm easily adaptable.
Yeah, there's reasons that you feel inclined to run a different direction on occasion, but number six is definitely. I mean, that's what you manifest in your life, and I'll show you why.
Okay.
Okay, when you look at the characteristics of these different gifts, when you look at the characteristics, if each of these are number one, if you had filled out number one, it would have been mercy. If it
Okay.
was number two, it would be teaching. Number three, serving. Four, giving. Five, professing. Six, exhortation. And seven, administration. Now, let me make exhortation a little bigger here. Let's make this a little bigger just so that everyone can see this a little easier. Uh, it's not doing it. Okay, I'll do it this way. And can you see those okay?
Yeah, I was just about to interrupt you with my eagerness to give my opinion about what's happening right now. So I love this.
See, look, you think about in your life, you tend to love to encourage others. You focus on working with people, find the truth in experience, make decisions easily. Hence the don't like to be delayed much, but because you want to take action.
Yeah.
You expect a lot of self and others. is outspoken and opinionated and tends to, and you just that one. Okay, so here's the fascinating thing about this stuff. If it resonates with you, then my question is, how has this encouragement and exhortation in your life really directed you in your path, in your life? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just give you the floor and say, tell me how you think this has actually been a big director in where you've been, where you're going, and what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think I might even start with misdirection in the beginning. Growing up, I was good with my hands, mechanical things, math and science, and a counselor told me, "Oh, good at math and science and like mechanical things, you should be a mechanical engineer." So I feel like I spent a lot of my early life kind of doing shoulds. Like I could do the science, I could do all the stuff, and ultimately it wasn't where I wanted to be. And so I think in probably the last 20 years, it's been like, yeah, I really love helping people through chiropractic. I love helping people through the coaching, through the teaching, through encouraging. Even if somebody's sharing something like in a friendship or in a casual conversation, I'm always wanting to support them and having their highest outcome, the best experience of life that they can. And so I think I do remember the point where I realized that I really cared about healing people and supporting, this positive good on the planet. And it was the first time I had ever thought about it. It just had been so out of my realm of consideration in the beginning. So it took me some time to get here. And I think when I finally took my hands off the reins, for kind of like your horse type of analogy of the unconscious and conscious mind, when I took my hands off the reins, I ended up exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Your gift actually prepares a place for you to be. Now, let me show you something that I think that you'll really resonate with too. And that is, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen again.
Okay.
And I want to show you that I believe that you started as a mercy. Always looks for the good in people, is attracted to people who are hurting or in distress and takes action, is more concerned about emotional distress than physical need initially, and then loves to do thoughtful things for others and could be indecisive on occasion. And here's where I mention this. The real gift, the real power for a lot of exhortations is that they've developed a massive empathy gift. They may have had it all their life. You see, somebody who starts as a mercy, the people that are high mercies in your life, they tend to have these experiences. They could sit down on any park bench in America, and if some poor soul gets within 8 feet of them, stays over 11 seconds, they come over and puke their life story on that person, on that mercy. Or if I was in emotional pain and I was standing near you, you become John Coffey from the Green Mile at an energetic level. Reach into my heart, grab my heart, hold it, and love it, and absorb all of that emotional energy into you.
Yeah.
I feel encouraged. You feel like crap. And there's that gifting of empathy and kind of like being the emotional thermometer.
Yeah.
Okay. But as you begin to develop your mind and you begin to develop your spirit, and you begin to develop a different dialogue, the most incredibly powerful thing happens to mercies is that they actually shift from being an emotional thermometer where they just feel all the pain and they know the emotional state to where they become the thermostat. And they will literally lock in because they're already jacked into everyone's heart around them and on their team or that they're working with. And at an energetic level, they stabilize the emotional state of the people around them because they can pull pain, push hope, and do it team wide. And they do it like that.
Wow.
It's the most incredibly powerful thing that they can really change lives at an energetic level, not not a communication thing. It's not about speaking. It's about being and who you are. And that empathy that you walk in would lead so easily into coaching, but it also totally get why somebody, if you're not a pretty good empath as a chiropractor, you're a breaker, not a mender.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
you have to get in there and you're feeling at an energetic level where the pain is, and then moving into that area to shift those energies. And that's not even to get real woo woo on anybody. That's just to go. That's you talk to a chiropractor and they'll do that. They'll go, yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
And many times they are the people that feel everybody else's pain all the time. And they're not weak. They're incredibly strong. It's just that some people think they're weak because they feel so deeply.
Yeah.
And what's amazing, I'm just mentioning this, and I'm trying to get. I want you to tell me if what I'm saying actually really even resonates, because I think it does. But you tell me, is this making sense as to why I see someone that is a mercy that goes through hell, and then they come out, an encouragement that says, "I'll pull your pain. I'm going to push hope with, if I can do this, you can do it." And there's this energy transfer that happens that snaps chains in the people around them, because people believe you when you speak. Is
Yeah.
that is that an is that an accurate
I,
interpretation?
I would say really well done, Pat. And some of the things I would mirror back is that I've done a lot of personal growth work, and I think I especially had that when I was really young. And it just, with family of origin and growing up in Wyoming, and it wasn't safe, right? So I shut those gifts of empathy down. And it's been the last 10 or 15 years of doing a lot of work to open them up, but not drowned in other people's things, right? It's one thing to like put your finger into the flow out of like a fire hydrant and then taste it so you know what it is so you can work with it, as opposed to drowning in it. And the other thing that's true is I'm always that guy that I'd be at house parties and I knew who was in good conversation. I knew who felt excluded. I knew this person was angry. I need to go like push them or listen to them or crack a joke and break the energy. Like, yeah. Yeah, all those things are very true. And I would also describe it as a lot of those statements are the shadow side of a healer. When you look at archetypes, right? It's the wounded healer. It's that part that develops self-worth from helping other people, that helps when not needed, it's that lifeguard at the pool that will jump in and drown for that person rather than throwing them the buoy. So yeah, I recognize all those things that you're mirroring back. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, even one of the things you're describing is I look at it as, when you enter a room like with a party, Morgan, it's like darts go from your heart to everyone in the room and you lock in. I mean, it's weird. You will walk up to people, and I'm pretty certain this has happened, but tell me if you would confirm it. You've literally walked up to people, and at some level you went, "What's wrong with your relationship with your brother?" And you're like, and they're going, "How'd you know?"
Yeah.
"I don't know. I just knew." I mean, there's just something there that goes, there's pain here, and you move towards it. And there's the thing that's so cool is that this gift, if you look at the 7 gifts of mercy, teaching, serving, giving, professing, they actually connect to 7 mountains of influence that are pretty amazing. Let me share this other thing, because when you look at how people have, let me pull this up.
I gotta say, to be honest, I know that you offer this test to people as a way to support them, and they can reach out and get it from you.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be taking this on my own, and I'm loving the opportunity to do this. So thank you so much. What a blessing.
It's a lot of fun. I've done this so long and so many times, and what's so fun about it is that people, when they understand why they're drawn in a certain way,
Yeah.
it can make such a huge difference. And let me see if this, I think this is the one that I wanted to pull up earlier. And yeah, this is it. So I'm just going to flip through these real quick and get to, yeah, here's what I want to show you. So there's these guys that got together several years ago, and it's Bill Bright, Francis Schaeffer, and Lauren Cunningham. And they recognized that there were seven areas of influence that can impact the nation: religion, family, education, media, arts and entertainment, government, and business. Well, a good buddy of mine, one of the guys that I was able to mentor when I was doing that 3-day event that I used to run, Rob Skiba is his name. Rob and I were talking one day, and we just went, I wonder if we can connect these to the 7 gifts. Mercy goes to family, teacher, education, server, arts, entertainment, giver, business, professing, exhortation. And what I don't like is I don't like the word religion personally, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Exhortation, and what I would encourage, in fact, I'll do it now, is I'm going to change this to inspiration.
Yeah.
And why would I do that? Because inspiration is more accurate for what you do. If you think about the word inspiration, it's to put the spirit in others.
Yeah.
It's to inspire, is to inject spirit, life into others in what we do. And so, but when you think about the way that, when I read your bio, I'm like, dang, think about what you do, everything in the way, for your podcast, to the radio, the other medias that you touch, the speaking that you do, the coaching that you do, the way that you are designed and wired is to inspire others to take action. In fact, what does it say? It says you want to get people to do what? Take.
Inspired action. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That interesting.
It's
But each of those gifts have a mountain, have a pillar of influence that they can impact. And so when you're with that, when you're flowing in that, you don't get tired of moving forward.
Yeah.
I just love that. But I'm curious, how can people get more of you? Either connect with you, hire you, rent your attention, let you send them an invoice. What do they need to do?
Yeah. So, one of my things, especially this year, when we're doing this, our conversation right now, my goal is to positively impact 50,000 people. And so sometimes that's in front of, same as you, in front of a crowd. Sometimes it's through the podcast. Sometimes it's through one-on-one coaching. And one of the things I'm offering is just a 30-minute conversation with me. I have people that we have a conversation. I know I'm never going to see them again. There's never going to be an invoice. And it's about truly empowering them. And sometimes it's like, listen, here's a referral and a YouTube video. Here's a book recommendation and a thing. Here's the Buddhist forgiveness prayer. Tape it up in your shower. Read that once a day for the rest of your life. You're going to be good. So, and sometimes I can actually support them through my one-on-one coaching, through my speaking. I go into groups and organizations and speak to them. So what I love is just opening the conversation to find the win-win, that true level of empowerment. And the best place to find me is at drmorganoaks.com, and Oaks is spelled O-A-K-S.
Say that again.
So it's drmorganoaks.com.
Okay, excellent. But you do coaching, speaking, this type of stuff. Where would they get a hold of your podcast and say the name of the podcast again?
Yeah. So the podcast, they can find the podcast through that other website. They can also go to any of the major, suppliers of podcasts like iTunes, SoundCloud, any of those. And the name of it is Intuitive Wisdom for Modern Transformation.
Very good.
So yeah.
And then you also do a lot of stuff on Facebook. Do you have a page on there, or do they just need to connect with you personally?
You know what, they can click, if they type in my name to Facebook, I'll pop up. I've got an Instagram page that I'm equally busy on. If they're more business oriented, which I'm assuming a lot of your audience might be, I'm also on LinkedIn. I did a TEDx 3 years ago, which was a huge blessing. It was about a spiritual journey of mine. I had had 4 visions around traveling to Central America, and I went down, and 3 of those 4 visions came true. And they can find that over at YouTube. So yeah, I'm kind of sprinkled all over the places people are sprinkled, and ultimately, if they're wanting a question or a connection, the kind of the grand central station for all that I do is again at drmorganoaks.com.
Very good. Thank you so much, Morgan. And folks, I just hope that this has been a benefit to you, just to see, how do you find your purpose, your passion, your profession? How do you actually move into a place where everything's aligned so that you're doing what you love to do? You're actually in your life flow in a way that the resistance begins to fall away. I'm Pat Dewar. I'm so honored that you were able to join me today. If you want the internal gifts test, just email me, patrick@doersuccess.com. I'll be glad to send it out to you, the characteristics as well. And I hope this has been a benefit to you. Morgan, it's been great having you on the show today. Thank you again for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, Pat. This has been a tremendous surprise and a great blessing. It's made my day. Absolutely.
Thank you again, folks. I hope you like, share, that you got some benefit from this, and that you connect to Morgan for your needs there, or if there's anything I can do for you, I'd love to visit with you as well. Thanks again. We'll talk to you next time.